Part 59. Online games, only I can see hidden information. Author, Minjio Old Thief. Chapter 581. Tianping accepted the money and said seriously. Brother Bai, when the credit system is ready, I will transfer 10 credits to you. Tianping is a good man. Yeah, Bai almost shed tears. These days, only in college can I meet such a simple person. Society is too complicated, and people's hearts are like Shura. Certainly. The main reason is that Tianping has never been in contact with Shura, so there are no signs of Shura transformation yet. After the training, it was time for free activities. Everyone dispersed and went back to their homes. On the way back, Tianping walked quickly, praying that he would not meet Wang. People, sometimes the more they are afraid of something, the more they become afraid of it. There was a shout from behind. Scale! Scale! Hearing Wang's voice, Tianping couldn't help but shiver and felt a headache. However, Tianping already had a plan. He has already thought about how to fool him. In short, Brother Long must be spared this beating. Before Tianping could speak, the other party said first. There's no need to hide the balance. Wang from Tianzi Class 1 patted his shoulder and said kindly. I knew earlier that Xiao Long had another breakthrough in training today. Balance. Brother Long, listen to my quibbles, no. Explanation. I really didn't trick you this time. How did you know? Tianping was a little surprised. He had agreed with Brother Long and Brother Bai that he would shoulder the responsibility. Why did the pot fly to Brother Long's head? I think you are confused. Wang said angrily. One of the instructors giving you special training today is my great-grandfather's brother. Have you forgotten? I see. Tianping suddenly realized. No one can blame this pot. Perhaps, this was Brother Long's destined beating. Wang walked side by side with Tianping and said casually. Let me just say that in the 2 previous sparring sessions, I felt that Xiao Long didn't use his full strength. He was really hiding it. It doesn't matter. I'll be more aggressive next time, so Xiao Long needs to give him some face. Tianping, I hope Brother Long is okay. After returning to the dormitory, Ye Bai didn't hesitate, and his movements were smooth and smooth. It only took 3 minutes and 26 seconds for him to appear outside the eternal forest. Unexpectedly, an uninvited guest has been waiting here for a long time. Little brother. The person who came was, the goblin's younger brother Zhao Qian. Fourth brother, there is something. Zhao Qian wanted to speak but stopped. He stopped but wanted to speak. Ye Bai saw his embarrassment and asked. Is it related to your boss? Right. Okay, let's talk while we walk. Ye Bai did not take Zhao Qian to the eternal forest, but walked to the summer camp nearby. The summer camp has been disbanded and the buildings are empty, but these buildings are still here. Wearing a mask, Ye Bai led Zhao Qian back to his hometown. Looking at this familiar scene, it felt like I was at summer camp a week ago. Ye Bai sighed casually. Is there a possibility that you were really at summer camp a week ago? Because the topic involves third brother, it would be a bit too bold to talk directly in the eternal forest. In fact, distance makes no difference to Xiaoao. But the sense of ritual is very important. After feeling that he was at a safe distance, Ye Bai spoke again. Tell me, what's going on? Is such that? Zhao Qian said slowly. My boss, Wan Pavilion, has no money in his account. As you know, he doesn't need money either. Ye Bai nodded, couldn't agree more. Once you have truly reached the realm of the strongest, money is meaningless. But since my boss made a bet with Xuemeng some time ago, according to the bet, Xuemeng's income began to be transferred to my boss's account. Zhao Qian swallowed and said nervously. Today, my boss asked about the balance. His This is no small matter. Even Ye Bai could realize the seriousness of this matter. Xiaoao took the initiative to ask about the balance. No matter from any angle, his third brother looked more like a human being. How much longer? Ye Bai was a little unsure. According to Xiaoao, there are still 3 months left in the countdown for his battle with the most powerful demon. Isn't this more exciting than the 100-day college entrance examination? If there is a problem with Xiaoao's status before the decisive battle, that is definitely not good news. Ye Bai felt more and more that he had to hurry up and find his second brother. Based on his thinking during this period, Ye Bai has been able to come up with a preliminary solution. Go to the second brother first and help the second brother heal his injury, and then study the treatment problem of the third brother. The second brother's injury was of a physical nature. Third brother's injury is a typical mental problem. Food must be eaten one bite at a time, and illnesses must be treated one by one. No chaos. The two of them just panicked about this matter and did not discuss it, mainly because they couldn't come up with a reason. Zhao Qian also adjusted his mentality at this time and said instead, "Fourth brother, I heard that you have dealt with Poseidon before." "Right." Ye Bai asked, "Is there any problem?" Zhao Qian took out a list and asked. "Some of these things are exclusive to Poseidon and are not included in the pavilion of all things. Fourth brother, please take a look and see if you have any in your hand." Ye Bai glanced at the list. He had seen 9 out of 10 of the things on it. Slightly. Ye Bai couldn't say that after he beheaded the Poseidon, he also peeled off the skin, cramped, broke the bones and sucked out the marrow, right? According to Zhao Qian, are you asking yourself to buy materials? Fourth brother's guess is correct. Zhao Qian said frankly. As long as the items on the list are needed by Wanwu Pavilion, the price of each item can be sold within 2 times the market price. If someone else dared to ask Shura such a price, Shura would let him know what true cruelty is. Xiaoao Wanwu Pavilion? That's okay. No. Ye Bai said righteously. It must be fair and just, I can't charge even a penny more. During this period, thanks to the third brother for taking care of me. Apart from anything else, if there was no Xiaoao, Ye Bai would be frightened even by the murderous and heart-wrenching plan of the most powerful demon. It was precisely because the other party was Xiaoao that Ye Bai could feel relieved. When you try to trick people, you usually trick outsiders, such as Poseidon. Gather the wool and keep an eye on Xuemeng. To be honest, Xuemeng doesn't have much wool now. He has become a pauper already. Is it wool that Ye Bai enjoys? No. It's the process of harvesting Xuemeng's wool. Shura, a powerful seed who has escaped from low-level taste. I have a question. Ye Bai asked sincerely. Since your boss has no interest in money, why did he establish Wanwu Pavilion? This. Zhao Qian hesitated for a moment and said frankly. I don't know the original intention of my boss in establishing Wanwu Pavilion. Having said this, Zhao Qian paused. But, my boss only gave me one task. He said in a deep voice. Collect all things in the world and put them in a high cabinet. Online games, only I can see hidden information. Author, Minjai Old Thief. Chapter 582. Collect everything in the world and put it in a high cabinet. Hiss. At first glance, these words sounded a bit domineering. If you think about it carefully, it becomes even more domineering. Ye Bai looked at Zhao Qian and asked, after reading the letter. In addition to doing business, Wanwu Pavilion also has its own warehouse, right? When trading in Wanwu Pavilion, there are almost no handling fees for direct transactions. But there is still a lot of output when it comes to auction houses, news buying and selling, interracial cross-platform shopping, etc. When doing business, even if you just take the pork from the refrigerator to the chopping board, there will be oil and water on your hands. The income of Wanwu Pavilion is terrifying. It is precisely because of this terrifying income that I can support Xiaoao's words. So, you really just put these goods in the warehouse to eat dust? Ye Bai's question received a negative answer. Of course not. Zhao Qian corrected him. It's just hanging up to eat ashes. Ye Bai. Really put it on the shelf. This sentence means literally, collect everything and hang it up. This world has it, and Wanwan Pavilion must have it. What is not available in this world, Wanwu Pavilion must have it. Etc. In other words, is there a real version of Wanwu Pavilion? Ye Bai's eyes shone brightly and he looked at Zhao Qian. I have a friend who wants to visit the Pavilion of All Things. According to Zhao Qian, the Pavilion of All Things collected all the things in the world and then hung them in the Pavilion of All Things. This is so rich. Ye Bai really wanted to say, give me one too. It's a pity that he is only the most powerful seed, not the most powerful person. He can't do such a heroic thing yet. Shura seems to be quite rich, but in fact, soon after he gets the money, he will spend it all for various reasons. Some time ago, Ye Baicha had been carrying a foreign debt for a period of time, which made Ye Baicha forget about the food and the food. He did not feel relieved until the foreign debt was paid off. Let's talk about it later. Zhao Qian declined Ye Bai's idea of visiting. Let Shura enter the Pavilion of All Things. I'm afraid that when Shura leaves, there will be only one pavilion left in the Pavilion of All Things. Wrong. With Shura's character, even the Pavilion of All Things will be moved away. Look at how stingy you are. Ye Bai rolled his eyes and complained before saying goodbye to Zhao Qian. However, Ye Bai remembered the matter of Wanwu Pavilion in his heart. After bidding farewell to Zhao Qian, Ye Bai returned to the Eternal Forest and his own exclusive space. This time, Ye Bai suddenly appeared and startled Dracula. 5 seconds after Ye Bai appeared, the green hat on Dracula's head began to flash green light crazily. Dracula. I was slapped by the demon lord before, and the gold turned into copper, and I couldn't even use my hat. Dracula silently put away his cuckold and pretended that nothing happened. Gu Jin rushed over and reported on the recent work. Today's exclusive space is no longer a single economy that only relies on selling minerals or producing equipment and props, the ancient inscription formations of the vampires, wolf spirit enchantments. Even some of the specialty products on the ice sheet have been sold to the wolf lair. The last time Shura treated guests, everything was produced and sold by himself without spending a penny. As a result, many of the foods in the exclusive space have become popular and have become the best-selling products of the wolf nest. This is still the lowest profit product. The craftsmen of the dwarves are elite craftsmen themselves, and with the combination of various top-notch raw materials and top-notch furnaces, they can naturally get twice the result with half the effort. Sometimes when the Fool Master is in a good mood, he will give them some advice. Their forging level has naturally increased, and their output has also increased greatly. The vampire clan has 2 ancient vampire clan hard scrolls, Cain and Dracula, and all kinds of formations. In short, the exclusive space is prosperous and prosperous, all due to Shura's good leadership. After Gu Jin finished reporting his work, Dracula shamelessly posted over. Master, Poseidon has been removed from the Eternal Temple. Dracula was very excited as he spoke. Poseidon is gone, and he is a strong person on the Poseidon path. Doesn't that mean? Is there any chance he could be Poseidon? Don't be happy too early. Ye Bai poured a basin of cold water down. If Poseidon's seat is so easy to sit in, why would Poseidon run away? There are many rules in the Eternal Temple, and the eternal rules are not easy to mess with. The most critical thing is that the most powerful demon god and the most powerful human race have blocked the passage to the upper world. The Eternal Temple has become a prison. But supporting and cultivating a quasi-god, or even a god, might be a good thing for Ye Bai. If there are dates but there are no dates, hit 3 poles. Yabai took the initiative to ask. Since you have embarked on the path of Poseidon, you should know who your competitors are, right? Dracula said quickly. The daughter of Poseidon, and a water powerhouse. If you have the chance to meet someone who deserves to be killed, I will kill it for you. Yabai did not forget to add. Price is calculated separately. Understand? If he had to fight alone, he would actually win. In a way, Cain was favored by Shuran. Master, the rules of the vampire clan are different from those of other clans. The most powerful seed of the blood clan died, the blood ancestor disappeared again, and no new blood ancestor was born. Just at this time, the arrogant blood prince Cain passed by and accidentally overheard the conversation between the two. Dracula knew that Yabai had misunderstood, and quickly explained. Just ask Cain. Answering a question from the other party does not count as a loss. How can you be so sure? Looking at Shura's gaze, Cain nodded steadily. The previous most powerful seed of our clan must be dead. The blood clan went on a rampage again, and their blood ancestor disappeared again. The surviving strong ones also had their memories confused. If you want to break through to level 990, it's not that simple, right? You have to at least defeat the strongest seed of the vampire clan, right? Dracula knew very well how much he weighed. Who is the most powerful seed of the vampire clan? Are you keeping your gossip? The most powerful seed of the blood clan must be designated by the blood ancestor. Before our blood ancestor hit level 1000, he designated a most powerful seed, but he died in front of the blood ancestor. But Cain thought for a moment and added. Previously on the 34th floor, Cain successfully recovered part of his strength by relying on the prince's essence and blood given by Shura. Yabai looked at Dracula with doubts in his eyes. Could it be this guy? In this way, the vampire clan will have no powerful seeds. Yabai changed the topic and asked. Yabai asked doubtfully. Dracula's true combat power has always been underestimated. Then here comes the problem. Oh? Is this the case? I killed him. Why are Cain and Dracula so sure about the powerful seed? Now that he heard it, Cain had to respond. When it comes to a real life and death situation, if you push hard, you can still have a lot of trump cards. Dracula kept nodding. It's true. Yabai was even more strange. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Online games, only I can see hidden information. Author, Minjai Old Thief. Chapter 583. If you had said this earlier, wouldn't it be clear to me? Yabai's eyes swept between Dracula and Cain. These two powerful vampires have a distinctive feature, there are anti-bones on the back of their heads. Even though they were very involved, they were fighting to the death for a little bit of Forbidden Prince's essence and blood. In fact, these two old foxes can form an indestructible alliance under certain conditions. The conflict between the two is nothing more than their differences in pursuit. Dracula has no sense of honor in the blood clan and is rebellious. He directly betrays the blood ancestor and embarks on a new path. Cain, on the other hand, has a strong sense of honor for the vampires. As long as something is beneficial to the vampires, he is willing to sacrifice his body to do it. For example, when the blood ancestor was trying to become the strongest, the 5 races coalition forces attacked. According to the information Yabai knew, Cain and the blood ancestor did not get along well, and they even parted ways later on. Most of the strong men at that time concluded that Cain would not wade into this muddy water, but would sit back and watch the blood ancestor fall and become the new blood ancestor himself. They are all wrong. Cain broke through the many obstacles and rushed to the castle alone to stop the coalition forces of the 5 races. Although he failed to change the final result, Cain proved with practical actions that he carried the honor of the vampire family on his shoulders. It was precisely because of this battle that Cain paid a great price. He fell from the forbidden prince and was annihilated. Only his soul was left to dwell in the bodies of his descendants. Etc. Yabai reacted immediately and asked, "Did you kill the vampire seed in the final battle?" "That's right." Cain nodded again, having nothing to hide. "That guy betrayed the blood ancestor, secretly passed on key information to the outside world, leaked the blood ancestor's breakthrough plan, and attracted an attack by the 5 ethnic groups. He should be killed." Yabai was silent for a moment and said in deep thought, "Who told you this information?" Obviously, Yabai is skeptical about some of the information Cain said and needs to be verified. Blood ancestor. Because of the fatal sword, part of Cain's memory was awakened, allowing him to recall the last battle. From Cain's mouth, the entire plot of the story is as follows. The blood ancestor seeks a secret breakthrough. The most powerful seed of the blood clan betrays the blood ancestor and leaks information to the outside world. The 5 tribes' allied forces attack the blood ancestor castle. Cain fails to save the enemy. He is seriously injured and kills the most powerful seed of the blood clan. The blood ancestor's breakthrough fails. Chang-He goes berserk. Listen to Cain tell the whole story. Dracula looked at Yabai and asked in confusion, "Master, there is nothing wrong with Cain. All the plots are reasonable, and there is no fault at all. Are you a pig?" Yabai rolled his eyes, but before he finished speaking, Dracula had a pig nose on his face, which was particularly funny. While covering his nose with his cloak, he stabbed himself so that he could die early and be resurrected early, out of his German pig form. The word pig has a special meaning to vampires. Cain also looked at Shura, waiting for the next step. After he recalled these memories, he naturally thought about them repeatedly and found no problems at all. Yabai said angrily, "In this whole thing, your blood ancestor is like a puppet, being played with in various ways. Do you think this is normal? Or do you think the blood ancestor is a pig?" Hiss. One word awakened the vampire from his dream. The last generation of blood ancestors, even in ancient times, was a heroic existence. Among all the ancient races, the blood race was able to stand out and become one of the 9 eternal races, and the blood ancestor was indispensable. Moreover, as the vampire's most promising being to become the strongest, he is top-notch in terms of strength, mind, and means. Why is it like a backdrop for such an important event? Once again, he was stabbed in the back by the most powerful seed he had chosen, and again he was attacked by the allied forces of the 5 races, and yet he fell at the last step. No matter how you look at it, this thing is weird. Yabai waved to the distance. "Idiot, come here." Master Fool snorted coldly, but did not move. Instead, he asked the wasteland elf behind him to come over. "I ask you." Yabai asked. "When we were on the 30th floor, did the Steppenwolf ancestor once say that Cain was fully responsible for the failure of the blood ancestor's breakthrough?" Their conversation was invisible to the eyes of insight. The wasteland elf made Du Fang admit this. Cain cursed regardless of his image. "Bullshit. Is it easy for him? He didn't give up the blood ancestor's position that was within easy reach, but ran to risk his life to save the blood ancestor, and he got beaten up. I can't bear it. Cain's reputation must not be tarnished by young people. As we all know, Cain cherishes his reputation very much and will never let it be stained in any way." "Poseidon. What are you in a hurry for?" Yabai retorted. "The truth of the matter has not yet been clarified. What if your kindness back then was detrimental to your help?" Cain really had nothing to say in this sentence. Looking back now, there was definitely a big problem with the blood ancestor back then. Even the alliance of the 5 races may have been planned by the blood ancestor. Seeing Cain deflated, Dracula's face was filled with a happy smile. "Laugh your ass off." Yabai scolded both Kane and Dracula with one sentence. Yabai looked at Dracula with a dangerous light in his eyes. "You are the one with the most clever ideas. Where did the blood ancestor's essence and blood come from? When did you attack the blood ancestor? Do you have the ability and the courage?" Yabai's few words left Dracula speechless like an eggplant beaten by frost. His explanation to Yabai for this incident was that he had lost his memory and forgotten the whole story. Yabai didn't believe a word of it. "I'm going out now to kill the subordinates of the most powerful demon god," Yabai warned the two vampires fiercely. "You'd better unify your confessions and give me a reasonable explanation when I come back." After saying that, a white light flashed, and Yabai left his exclusive space, leaving Kane behind specially. After Shuro left, the expressions on Kane and Dracula's faces disappeared at the same time, showing the same indifference and arrogance. The two looked at each other, snorted coldly, and looked away. Dracula took out a bottle of red wine and poured 2 glasses. Vampires use red wine to talk about big things. Kane took the wine glass, and the two came to the Evernight Castle and stood on the balcony, overlooking the entire exclusive space. Dracula took a sip of red wine and said leisurely, "The Demon Lord is a little anxious. Today's Shura is particularly concerned about the past of the vampire clan, which is unusual." Kane nodded. "That idiot Poseidon told him the origin of the Eternal Tower." Dracula nodded and agreed. "This is normal, he will know sooner or later." Kane was silent for a moment and then spoke again. "The blood ancestor may still be alive." Dracula was not surprised, his tone was calm. "I know." Kane continued. "The most powerful seed back then was weird and begged me to kill him." Dracula, "Oh." Kane thought for a moment and finally added, "Following Shura is the only chance to find the blood ancestor, and it is also the reason why I stay." "It's pretty much what I guessed." Dracula drank the wine in one gulp and let out a long sigh. Kane glanced at him and asked provocatively, "If we have this conversation, you won't be afraid that your master will find out?" "Not afraid." Dracula said it with great confidence. "There is surveillance here, I recorded it all. Online games, only I can see hidden information." Author, Minjai Old Thief. Chapter 584. Kane. The word lick is considered to be understood by Dracula. He snorted coldly and walked away. This conversation ended in vain. Both sides knew very well that what they could say openly was meant for Shura. Both Kane and Dracula want to find the blood ancestor. For the former, this is a key figure related to whether the vampire clan can rise again. For the latter, this is a key figure related to whether he can rise for the first time. Before finding the blood ancestor, the two sides can continue to cooperate and maintain calm on the surface. 12 o'clock sharp. Yabai returned to the Eternal Core City and summoned the Eternal Core Crystal. If 2 months pass the same level, Yabai puts his palm on the Eternal Core Crystal and selects the number of layers. 35 floors. A white light flashed, Yabai's figure disappeared from the spot, and a familiar sound sounded in his ears. "I wish you can clear the Eternal Tower as soon as possible." Eternal Tower. Floor 35. A white light flashed, and Yabai appeared on a black cloud. According to the previous rules, the odd and even changes remain unchanged, and this layer of black fog should not cause trouble. Yabai looked around and found nothing unusual. 35, 36, and 37 are all connected layers. If you reach 100% exploration level and pass the level on the 35th floor, you can connect 3 levels in one go. According to Yabai's understanding, connecting layers often means greater difficulty. Before being occupied by the powerful demon god's men, the clearance rate on this floor was very low. Many 9th level generals are stuck at this level, unable to go further and break through to become the king of war. After being contaminated by the aura of the most powerful demon, the difficulty of the level increased again. The more difficult it is, the more difficult it is. After confirming that there was no danger, Yebai began to study how to clear the level. Before contamination, the content of this layer is: players make chess pieces, and the chess pieces form a lineup to fight other players on the cloud. The winner can get chess pieces to strengthen and fight in the next round. As the number of combat rounds increases, the height of the cloud layer where the player is located will continue to increase, eventually reaching enough exploration to pass the level. There is basically no need for players to participate in the battle. It all depends on the chess pieces to fight automatically. The outcome is only related to the strength of the lineup. It is for this reason that this layer is also called Henteing chess. The problem is that there is only one player on this floor, Shura. Yebai looked around and found that there were monsters looming on the black clouds at the same height. Brainless Warrior Lineup, Combat Effectiveness Evaluation, 126. Powerful Mage Lineup, Combat Effectiveness Evaluation, 87. The combat power is mostly around 100. Since he has an opponent, Yebai doesn't have to worry too much. As long as there is a way to pass the level, Shura can pass it at the SSSS level. With a 4's rating, Shura is a professional. Let's form our own lineup first. Yebai looked intently in front of him, and a platform appeared in front of Yebai. This is a chess piece maker. According to the original rules, only materials provided by this layer can be used to make chess pieces. A small pile of materials appeared in front of Yebai, which was only enough to make 3 chess pieces. What kind of chess piece should I design? Yebai began to conceive and design. Use a knife, I'm cruel and talkative, I'm a grumpy old man. Soon, Yebai invested a lot of materials and made a thumb-sized swordsman in black. The villain wears a helmet so that his face cannot be seen clearly. He wears light armor and a short sword at his waist. He looks very strong. When it came to the naming step, Yebai looked around to make sure no one was watching him. He entered 3 words. Jingiiju. Creating the chess piece Jingiiju successfully. In front of Yebai's eyes, a message from Jingiiju quickly popped up. Chess piece, Jingiiju. Occupation, swordsman. Star rating, 2 stars. Combat power, 5. Traits. Walking alone, Jingiiju will only fight alone. When other friendly chess pieces are alive, Jingiiju will not take action. If Yingju does not take action during the entire battle, the level will be slightly improved. Grief and anger, whenever a friendly chess piece dies, combat power at 10. Seeing Jingyuju's introduction, Yebai burst out laughing. Ha ha ha. Fight against the 5 scum. He is a scumbag. Ha ha ha. Master Ju, you too have today. Yebai couldn't wait to take out his camera to take pictures and record the moment of Master Ju and Wu Jia. Fortunately, he held back. Yebai warned himself in his heart. The chess pieces on this level must not be leaked out. If the information about the chess pieces is leaked, Master Ju will definitely kill himself. Although Jingiiju is fighting against the 5th scum. But the characteristics look pretty good. After the death of a teammate, Jingiiju's combat power will be permanently increased by 10 points. If his teammates are alive and affect Juyu's output, it is a yes. Yebai suddenly discovered that this trait was quite consistent with reality. Think carefully about every time Juye fights, the light of his sword can't help but drift towards his teammates. Old habitual offender. After making the copycat chess piece of Jingiiju, Yebai continued his efforts and created 2 more copycat chess pieces, King Huo and Blue Sword Fairy, and used up all the materials in his hands. Chess piece, King Huo. Occupation, reckless man. Star rating, 2 stars. Combat power, 50. Traits. King Huo is a 2-star chess piece, with 50 combat power points, which is very impressive. He can be resurrected once, which is rounded up to 100 combat power. If King Huo dies again after being resurrected, Jing Yanjiu's combat power will be add 10. Traits. Fight an enemy with a combat power of 126. Even though Master Ju is fighting against the 5th scum now, once his teammates are all dead, his combat power will be as high as 35. Strengthening chess pieces requires spending materials, and making new chess pieces also requires materials. The winning rate is only 98.6%. Do you really want to bet? In other words, in order to increase the strength and depth of the lineup as much as possible, the correct solution is to fight against stronger enemies within the scope of Rikazuo's capabilities. The higher the combat effectiveness of the enemy, the richer the loot will be. But combat power, 15. Yabai looked around. There were a total of 5 enemies on this floor, and their combat power was 87, 92, 100, 126, 153. Star rating, 1 star. Moreover, Jing Tangju and King Huo had combo skills before. Lanji Unxian and Jing Yaiju are both chess pieces that can grow, and their combat effectiveness will continue to increase with the battle. In this way, Yabai assembled a copycat lineup of Jing Yaiju, Huo De Wang, and Blue Sword Fairy. If you fail in any game, you will be eliminated directly, resulting in failure to pass the level. The combined combat power of these 3 chess pieces is 5 add 50 add 15 equals 70. Among these 3, Jing Yaiju has invested the most materials, and is also the only chess piece with dual characteristics. Winning 2 battles, raising the clouds and facing more powerful enemies. Chess piece, Blue Sword Fairy. Spirit Sword, each time the sword is used, the combat power is add 1. If the enemy is successfully killed, the combat power is add 10. Resurrection, after death, you can be resurrected once with full blood. The Eye of Insight gives the defeat rates of 5 enemies, as well as the materials that can be harvested by winning. Just one King Huo can increase Jing Yanjiu's combat power by 20 in one battle. From fighting against the 5th scum, he evolved to fighting against the 35 scum. It seems that no one can win. King Huo dies once, Jing Yanjiu's combat power at 10. Occupation, Sword Immortal. Looking at the winning rate in front of him, Yabai decided to take a gamble. Wealth can be found in danger, I believe in 99. Yabai nodded and said affirmatively. Online games, only I can see hidden information. Author, Minjai Old Thief. Chapter 585. Boom. On the chess game. King Huo flew out and died again. The Blue Sword Fairy's sword left a series of sparks on the enemy's body and returned without success. A ferocious monster rushed up, dragging its seriously injured body. After getting close, it easily killed the fragile Blue Sword Fairy. Almost instantly, the balance of victory and defeat tilted infinitely towards the monster. Until, the swordsman who had been watching coldly made a move. Brush. A sharp blade flashed across, easily taking away the life of the seriously injured monster. Juju, whose combat power soared to 35, faced the remaining salted fish and rotten shrimps, just like chopping vegetables and melons, and easily won. You win. Yabai looked at the result in front of him, pumped his fist and cheered. Great. Yabai quickly counted the spoils brought by this victory. 1 piece of random equipment, 1 star upgrade material *36, 150 cloud coins. Cloud coins have a wide range of functions, resurrecting chess pieces, purchasing star upgrade materials, purchasing equipment, increasing the maximum population of the lineup, etc. On the 35th floor. The highest star rating of a chess piece is 9 stars. Each time you upgrade a star, you need 9 upgrade materials of the same level. 9 1-star upgrade materials can be synthesized into 1 2-star upgrade material, and so on. The higher the star of the chess piece, the harder it is to upgrade the star. After rising to a star, your strength will become stronger. Ye Bai first used 50 cloud coins to revive Lanji Unxian and King Huo. Then he upgraded Blue Sword Fairy from 1 star to 2 stars. Chess piece, Blue Sword Fairy. Occupation, Sword Immortal. Star rating, 2 stars. Combat power, 35. Traits. Spirit Sword, each time the sword is used, the combat power is add 2. If the enemy is successfully killed, the combat power is add 15. In this way, Ye Bai's lineup strength becomes 35 add 50 equal 120. The combat power is as high as 120. You can play the 24 initial stages of Jeju. After upgrading Blue Sword Fairy, Ye Bai opened the random equipment box. Get a piece of 1-star armor, which can increase defense, health, etc. and combat effectiveness add 10. Ye Bai gave this armor to Jeju without hesitation. There are 3 chess pieces on the field. First, exclude King Huo. He is destined to die and does not need to increase his defense. The faster he dies, the stronger Jeju becomes. Moreover, in terms of resurrection costs, King Huo is also more cost-effective. Ye Bai resurrecting the Blue Sword Immortal once can only increase Jeju's combat power by 10 points, while King Huo can add 20 points. Secondly, comparing Lanji Unxian and Jeju. Ye Bai obviously prefers Jeju. After the lineup is upgraded, go into battle again. The strongest monster on this level only had 153 combat power, and was easily swept by Ye Bai. King Huo died once, and the Blue Sword Immortal was left with only 90% of his health intact, and he successfully passed the level. Trigger walking alone, Jing Tanjiu uses 3 copies of 2-star upgrade materials. 3/9. After harvesting the spoils, Ye Bai did not hesitate and directly invested all his resources on Jeju, promoting Jing Eiju to 3 stars. Anyone who plays chess knows that the strength of the lineup is an absolute longboard theory. The strongest chess piece determines the upper and lower limits of the lineup. As long as your thighs are thick enough, you can take them with you. After 3 stars, Jing Yanjiu's own combat power reached 50, returning to the same starting line as King Huo. Jeju, who was fighting against the 5 scum back then, finally stood up. The solo player has also been strengthened. When a friendly chess piece dies, the combat power can be increased by 25. After Ye Bai integrated the lineup, the overall combat effectiveness increased to 140. In fact, it can easily crush an enemy with 200 combat power. After defeating 2 enemies, the black clouds under Ye Bai's feet slowly rose. He became stronger, reached a higher rank, and his enemies became stronger. The 35th level after blackening does not have any rank protection mechanism. As long as Ye Bai loses a game, he will fail to pass the level. After reaching a new height, the enemy's combat power automatically popped up in front of Ye Bai's eyes. 146, 167, 264, 356, 546. Among these 5 enemies, Ye Bai must defeat at least 3 before he can advance to the next level. For enemies with less than 200 enemies, the winning rate of Ye Bai's lineup is 100%. But if the enemy is too weak, there will be less loot in exchange, which is not in line with Ye Bai's development plan. He must spend a lot of resources to create a super powerful chess piece as much as possible and drive the entire lineup to take off. Ye Bai focused on studying 3 powerful enemies, and based on the analysis given by the Eye of Insight, he looked for the weaknesses of the enemy's lineup. Strange, the enemy with 264 combat power has a winning rate of only 60%, but the enemy with 356 combat power has a higher winning rate. Ye Bai quickly discovered the problem. The lineup of monsters with a combat power of 356 actually relies on a large number of weak monsters to increase the combat power to 356. And these weak monsters can allow the Blue Sword Fairy to trigger the passive bonus of Spirit Sword, and the combat power will increase rapidly, and the ultimate advantage will snowball. After research and understanding, Ye Bai immediately removed all the equipment from Jing Yuju and put it on Lanji Unxian. In this way, the winning rate increases to over 99%. This is sure. Start the war. Soon, relying on the heroic performance of Lanji Unxian, Ye Bai defeated the monster with 356 combat power. With the improved lineup, Ye Bai crushed 264 enemies and easily defeated the boss with 546 combat power. Like the previous idea, Ye Bai still poured a lot of resources into Jing Yanjiu. At some point, maybe promoting Blue Sword Fairy is a better option. But Ye Bai unconditionally believes in Juju. He plans to train Jing Yanjiu into the first 9-star chess piece. With victory after victory, Ye Bai has more and more resources in his hands, and the strength of his lineup continues to increase. Period. He created 2 more chess pieces. Chess piece, Shui Yang Yang. Invincible, can enter the invincible state for 5 seconds. After 5 seconds, it is useless. Ye Bai asked Shui Yang Yang to recognize King Huo as his adoptive father so that they could join the joyful resurrection flow. If a Shui Yang Yang can be invincible for 5 seconds, it is still very strong. Ye Bai also thought about playing tricks. Failed to recognize the father. Combat power, 1. But combat power, 50. A 1-star chess piece with a combat power of 1, its only function is to be invincible for 5 seconds. The one in front, Shui Yang Yang, was okay. Star rating, 1 star. Traits. Should Shui Yang Yang recognize Woody as his adoptive father, so that he can inherit the other party's invincible qualities? Traits. Su is invincible in his life, why does he need a burden like an adopted son? Star rating, 2 stars. Shui Yanjiang's invincible knowledge of his father failed in front of Su Wudi. Occupation, related household. But the invincible ant is still an ant. The reason for failure popped up in front of Ye Bai's eyes. When this chess piece appears on the stage, he will also say something coquettishly. Chess piece, Su Wudi. See the invincible power. How lonely it is to be invincible. When the trait is triggered, it will also add drama to itself. Occupation, Fengfa. Adopted father, designate a chess piece as your adoptive father. After the opponent dies, he will inherit his characteristics. King Huo and Shui Yang Yang can die 4 times in each battle, which increases Juju's combat effectiveness by 100 points. In fact, Su Wudi was useless in these 5 seconds. As for Su Wudi, what the hell is this? All members are resurrected and flown. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Online games, only I can see hidden information. Author, Minjai Old Thief. Chapter 586. Su Wudi is so tough when he speaks. Ye Bai looked at Su Wudi, whose combat power was 1, and wondered who gave him the courage. After the population reached 5, Ye Bai's business ideas became clearer. Su Wudi was at the front, King Huo followed closely behind, and Shui Yang Yang was guarding Lanji Unxian. Jingyi Iju. Stay where it's cool. In this way, the moment the 2 sides fight, Su Wudi will trigger the invincibility trait, and directly GG after the 5 seconds of invincibility. After King Huo died, Shui Yang Yang also gained the quality of resurrection. In this way, if 4 teammates die 6 times, Juju can gain 150 combat power. Under Ye Bai's management, Jing Yanjiu's combat power soared rapidly, quickly breaking through the 1000 mark and becoming Ye Bai's strongest chess piece. Jeju stood up. He is no longer the scumbag he used to be. Relying on Jeju, Ye Bai was invincible in the following battles, making great progress all the way, and his rank continued to improve. In the gold promotion match, Ye Bai met the first mini-boss in the early stage, and it was also the battle with the greatest suspense about victory or defeat. Ye Bai's lineup has a combat strength of less than 5,000, but the enemy's combat strength is as high as 10,000 plus. Before the war started, Eye of Insight gave a winning rate of 85%. In order to advance, Ye Bai had no choice but to bite the bullet. In less than a minute of fighting, Ye Bai's chess pieces were dead. When all the other chess pieces were killed, Jing Yanjiu took action. Jeju, already a 4-star chess piece, lived up to Ye Bai's expectations. The flash of swords and shadows were extremely brutal. The one who survived to the end was Keiju. Promotion is successful. The joy of winning the promotion match was beyond Ye Bai's imagination. In return, Ye Bai threw all the spoils from this battle on Jing Yanjiu, piling it up to 5 stars. Ye Bai's first 5-star chess piece. Chess piece, Jing Yaiju. Occupation, Sword Immortal. Star rating, 5 stars. Combat power, 4,500. Traits. Walking alone, Jing Yaiju will only fight alone. When other friendly chess pieces are alive, Jing Yaiju will not take action. If Yingju didn't take action during the entire battle, his level would be greatly improved. Grief and anger, whenever a friendly chess piece dies, combat power at 100. Guarding the way, Jing Yaiju designates a chess piece as the guard object. When the chess piece enters a dying state, Jing Yaiju will take action once. If Yingju successfully kills the enemy and the guarded object does not die, both parties will regain full health and all traits will be refreshed again. Because Protect the Way takes action, it will not be counted in the settlement of walking alone. Hiss. Ye Bai couldn't help but take a breath of cold air and felt his scalp numb. This child is so terrifying, he must be sacrificed well. The 5-star Jeju, no, he can already be called Brother Ju. The 5-star 9th brother has carried the banner of the entire lineup and deserves to be the first battle force. Ye Bai glanced at his lineup and keenly discovered that there was an opportunity for a bug. As a bug inventor, Ye Bai never misses any opportunity to catch a bug. Brother Ju's guardian has extremely strict triggering requirements. According to normal understanding, even if Brother Ju uses his sword to kill the enemy, the protected object will most likely die and no subsequent effects will be triggered. But Ye Bai has an invincible chess piece, Su Invincible. As long as Brother Ju is allowed to protect Su Wudi. Su Wudi, who entered a dying state, was invincible himself. After Brother Ju used his sword, Su Wudi survived, the guard judgment was successful, both sides regained full health, and Su Wudi's invincible was refreshed. When Su Wudi is about to die next time, he will trigger guard again. The infinite loop belongs to Yes. In fact, in addition to Su Wudi, King Huo is also very suitable to cooperate with Ju Ye. King Huo's resurrection can also be used to block bugs. But King Huo has one flaw, he is too strong. Su Wudi, whose combat power is only 1, is one of those chess pieces that will break when touched. He can directly trigger guard, allowing 9th brother to take action. King Huo still needs a lot of fighting before he can enter the state of near death. After a battle, if Brother Ju protects Su Wudi, he can use the sword dozens of times. If he were to protect King Huo, he would only be able to use the sword 2 or 3 times. Judging from the enemy killing efficiency, Su Wudi was victorious. The most important thing is that Ye Bai can rely on the cooperation of Su Wudi and Ju Ji to achieve the level enhancing effect of Bai seeing solo. As long as a battle ends and Su Wudi and Ju Ji survive to the end, walking alone will be triggered, giving Ju Ji a level upgrade. After the chess pieces reach 5 stars, each upgrade requires a huge amount of materials. Traveling alone is a good solution to Yebai's resource shortage problem. This is why Yebai was so stupid in the early stage that he overpowered Zhu Ji. The later it gets, the greater the benefits walking alone will bring. After his thoughts became clear, Yebai started a new round of scoring promotions. Brush brush brush. Su Wuti lived up to Yebai's expectations, and everything went according to the expected routine. Enemy strength, 15,000, winning rate 100%. Enemy strength, 27,000, winning rate 100%. Enemy's combat strength. Victory after victory, triumph after victory, Yebai's rank rushed from gold to platinum in one breath. Brother Ninth has also become Uncle Ninth. Now Uncle Ju, the 7-star chess piece, has a combat power of up to 200,000. In order to let Uncle Ju trigger more grief and anger, Yebai increased the population to 7 and created 2 more chess pieces. Chess piece, Zhao Yuqian. Occupation, rich man. Star rating, 5 stars. Combat strength, 1888. Traits. Lucky star, after each battle is won, a treasure box will be opened to obtain trophies. The more consecutive victories, the richer the trophies will be. The way to make money: after killing a monster, decompose the opponent into cloud coins of equivalent value or a piece of equipment of the same level. Chess piece, Silly Master. Occupation, blacksmith. Star rating, 5 stars. Combat strength, 2222. Traits. Forging strengthening, after each battle, you will get an opportunity to strengthen your equipment. Way of death, create a piece of equipment corresponding to the star level for the enemy at the beginning. This equipment cannot cause damage to the Silly Master. After the enemy is killed, the equipment will automatically drop. Zhao Yuqian's characteristics are pretty good, and they are in line with Yebai's expectations. Silly Master, what the hell is this? Insider. If there is a mole, keep trading. Good guy, Yebai called him a good guy. Even when he goes to play chess in Henteing, the stupid master shows his true nature as a mole. When it comes to being a traitor, Yebai is willing to call her the strongest. Anyway. With the addition of Zhao Yuqian and Silly Master, Yebai's lineup has become even more powerful. The advantage lies with me. The stupid master will return to his trap. As long as Yebai's lineup is strong enough, the equipment created for the enemy will eventually return to Yebai's hands. Yebai only has small wins, medium wins, and big wins. Never lose money. After upgrading to 7 people, Yebai continued to score points. Platinum 4, Platinum 3, Platinum 2, Platinum 1. Promotion match. The 8-star Little Master Ju is so terrifying that he easily wins with a bunch of soy sauce bottles. Messages kept popping up in front of Yebai's eyes. Promotion is successful. Congratulations, the chess piece Jingyi has been upgraded to a 9-star chess piece, and the population limit is at 1. Hey, 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 is this the earthly world? Online games, only I can see hidden information. Author, Minjai Old Thief. Chapter 587. When Yebai was promoted to Diamond, Juyi was directly promoted to 9 stars. He couldn't wait to click on the information bar. Chess piece, Jingyi. Occupation, Sword God. Star rating, 9 stars. Combat power, 999,999. Traits. Walking alone, Jingyi will only fight alone. When other friendly chess pieces are alive, Jingyi will not take action. If Yingju does not make a move during the entire battle, the level of a random friendly chess piece will be greatly improved. Grief and anger, whenever a friendly chess piece dies, combat power at 9,999. Guarding the way, Jing'eiju designates 9 chess pieces as guardian objects. When any guarded object enters a dying state, Jing'eiju will take action once. If Yingju successfully kills the enemy and the guarded object does not die, both parties will regain full health and all traits will be refreshed again. Because Protect the Way takes action, it will not be counted in the settlement of walking alone. Inheritance: when all the guardian objects are killed, Jing'eiju will automatically acquire the characteristics of all objects until the end of the battle. After reading the 4 characteristics, Ye Bai only wanted to say 4 words. Master Ju is peeing. With the fighting strength of millions, it is so terrifying. Master Ju, the whole audience cheers. After being promoted from 8 stars to 9 stars, the complete Juye has reached the ceiling of the chess piece's combat power. The number of designated objects for protecting the road has been increased from 1 to 9. The upper limit of the population of Ye Bai's lineup is 9, which means that Master Ju can protect all members. If his teammates don't die, Ju can take unlimited shots. If all teammates are killed, solo plus inheritance will take effect at the same time, and Master Ju's combat power will skyrocket. Ye Bai couldn't help but sigh. It's just fun to watch Su Wudi. He's so invincible, but he also wants to watch Master Ju. After having Ju seeing Ju Ye Bai was rampant in the diamond rank and was invincible. At the same time, the quality of other chess pieces in the lineup is also improving rapidly. On the one hand, thanks to Ju solo, you can improve the quality of a random teammate during settlement. On the other hand, Zhao's rich characteristics make Ye Bai, who has a continuous winning streak, lose money. Ye Bai, who had more and more materials in his hands, had a lineup with a combat strength of over 10 million when he was promoted to Diamond 1. 9-star Lord 9, 8-star King Huo, 8-star Blue Sword Fairy, 8-star Shui Yang, 7-star Silly Master, 7-star Zhao Yuqian, and 3-star Su Wudi. And the materials in Ye Bai's hands are enough to upgrade another chess piece to 9 stars. Between King Huo, Lanji Unxian, and Shui Yang, Ye Bai hesitated for a while, but finally chose King Huo. Shui Yang cannot recognize Ju Ye as his adoptive father because their personalities are in conflict. The foster father is here. You need to let your foster father die first, so that Shui Yang can explode the universe, inherit the characteristics of his foster father, and go on a killing spree. As for Ju's complete form, he needs to let his teammates die first. One is that the adoptive father is alive and affects the output. One is that teammates affect the output while alive. To some extent, they are similar. Xuemeng is worthy of being Xueju's son. It belongs to the same line. As for Lanji Unxian, his offense is stronger than his defense. For Ye Bai, with Ju's sword, the attack is already full. Lanji Unxian's position in the team has some overlap with that of Ju Ye. Prioritizing promotion to 9 stars would be a waste. King Huo, on the other hand, has no such concerns. He is a reckless man, standing in the front, he is tolerant, able to withstand injuries, and his output is not low. Congratulations to the chess piece King Huo for being promoted to a 9-star chess piece. Only when the 9-star chess piece evolves for the first time will the population limit be awarded. Ye Bai clicked on King Huo's attribute panel. Chess piece, King Huo. Occupation, Mang Shen. Star rating, 9 stars. Combat strength, 666,666. Traits. Resurrection: after death, you can be resurrected 2 times with full health. Hegemony: ignore all negative effects and immune to all control effects. Brainless: you will not die if your head falls off, your combat effectiveness will not be affected after being injured, and the damage received will be reduced by 33.3%. Calling formation: after entering the combat state, it will automatically taunt enemies within 10 grids, triggering once every 5 seconds. Each time a call formation is triggered, combat power at 6666. After reaching 9 stars, all chess pieces will have infinite growth characteristics. After Ye Bai saw King Huo's characteristics, he couldn't say they were exactly the same as King Huo Tian, but he could only say they were exactly the same. There is taunting, hegemony, damage reduction, and the combat power can continue to grow. With King Huo and Master Zhu on the court, Ye Bai is invincible. Relying on the 2 9-star chess pieces, Ye Bai penetrated the Diamond 1 and easily reached the Master rank. For example, if you clear the level, there are still 3 levels left. After being promoted to Master, Ye Bai found that not only did it not become easier for him to pass the level, it actually became more difficult. The pollution on this level is very serious. As a result, the enemy's strength exceeded Ye Bai's expectations and became exponentially stronger. The words 45% were marked red. As for option 2, since you want to pursue excitement, then follow through to the end. He took a deep breath and decided to take a gamble. The creation of the 9-star chess piece Grumpy Old Pigeon was successful. In the lineup, the top 9-star chess pieces, Juya and King Huo, are all covered in magical costumes, and there is no room for improvement. This time he broke through the barrier. He was already very presumptuous. But Ye Bai also has something to say. He had 2 options in front of him. The current winning rate is 45%. After making up his mind, Ye Bai threw all the materials in his hand into the production table and started to commit suicide. Who else knows? I'm doing this all to succeed. After working for a long time, under Ye Bai's expectant eyes, a fresh chess piece was born. Even if the other party finds out, it's just one more blow. A bold idea emerged in Ye Bai's heart. Option 1, promote 2 pieces to 9 stars. As long as the third brother doesn't tell anyone. Ye Bai has already shouldered all the financial losses, there is nothing to be afraid of anymore. All materials can directly make a 9-star chess piece. Ye Bai, whose entire lineup was less than 20 million, after being promoted to Master, the first enemy he faced had a combat strength of 32 million. The villain he pinched was either related to Master Zhu or to various strong men in the human race. Besides, what happens here is known to heaven and earth, and Ye Bai knows and Xiao Ao knows. The weakest ones are all 9th level God of War Su Qingfeng. There is only a winning rate of less than 80%. Thinking of this, Ye Bai couldn't help but feel a little hot inside. In this world, is there any sword technique that is more unlucky than losing money? According to the deduction of the Eye of Insight, both Shui Yangyang and Lanji Unxian were upgraded to 9 stars, and the lineup's combat power exceeded 20 million. Estimated winning rate, 76.2%. And relying on the previous wave of winning streak, Ye Bai accumulated a large amount of materials in his hands. Except for Lao Su and Shui Mang, everyone else was someone Ye Bai couldn't afford to offend. What are you afraid of? However, compared with the previous 45%, it is already much better. Even Jing Ai dared to pinch Zhu Ye Bai, what else did he not dare to do? Even without Ye Bai's mathematics, you can see that the winning rate is 50-50, and the probability of losing is even greater. Online games, only I can see hidden information. Author, Minjai Old Thief. Chapter 588. Chess piece, Grumpy Old Pigeon. Occupation, Pigeon God. Star rating, 9 stars. Combat strength, 1 million. Traits. Pigeon, at the beginning of the battle, there is a 50% probability of not participating in this battle. When the effect is triggered, the combat power is add 50,000. Dig, at the beginning of the battle, randomly bury an enemy chess piece. Epiphany, each attack has a 3.3% chance of obtaining a random trait until the end of the battle. If the battle is won, one of the traits can be retained. Procrastination, 90% of the damage received will be shared over the next 30 seconds. Grumpy old pigeon, the battle has not ended 60 seconds after entering the combat state. The probability of the grumpy old pigeon's epiphany is increased to 6.6%, and the damage caused is increased by 100%. After triggering the groggy brother trait, the next round of battle will definitely trigger pigeon characteristics. His. Yep, I spent double the resources to create a 9-star chess piece that was extremely powerful. The factory combat power directly reaches 1 million, and with 5 characteristics, it can be called the strongest 9-star chess piece. Although this trait of pigeon is a bit tricky. But the digging trait ensures the effects of the appearance. Epiphany let the grumpy old pigeon's upper limit be infinitely raised. The more traits you have, the stronger your combat power will be, and the more terrifying it will be in the later stage. Procrastination ensures the survivability of the grumpy old man. After transforming into a real grumpy old pigeon, his combat power is directly doubled, and he has the ultimate terrifying combat power. The most important thing is that the grumpy old pigeon can also interact with other chess pieces, producing a terrifying effect of 1 add 1 greater than 20. For example, asking Shui Yang Yang to recognize the grumpy old pigeon as his adoptive father is equivalent to having 2 grumpy old pigeons. Even the Eye of Insight gave a very high evaluation. Current winning rate, 96.5%. The original winning rate of 45% increased to 96.5% in one breath. Isn't this a sure win? You have to hurry up and pass the level. Yabai reorganized his lineup and muttered. If my second brother finds out, I will definitely lose the favor. The first abyss. A few days ago, the 7th and 8th demon gods turned to the strongest demon god and were quickly wiped out by the human race, putting an end to the disaster and preventing further losses. After that battle, the most powerful Wuhan took his sword slave and entered the first abyss forcefully. Other demon gods can take refuge in the strongest demon god. The big devil can't. To some extent, the range of activities of the most powerful Wuhan has been further restricted. In the past, this swordsman in white could strike wherever he pleased, wherever he wanted. Now, he could only stay in the first abyss. When his hands were itching and couldn't bear it, he would casually chop at the big demon. On this day, a sneaky figure appeared outside the first abyss. The strong man carrying the bloody sledgehammer swaggered into the first abyss, unscrupulously. Second father! Second father! Shuemeng shouted at the top of his lungs, looking for traces of his adoptive father. A light voice came from overhead. What's the matter? Shuemeng looked up and found that his adoptive father and Lan Bangxian were sitting on a hillside playing chess. The two are playing backgammon. Using the sword energy as chess pieces and the sword array as the chessboard, every chess piece falling, even a little bit of sword energy flowing out, can easily kill a 9th level war god like Su Qingfeng. The most terrifying thing is that the chessboard is placed on the big devil. The great demon god was still lying on the ground, just as he was when Huo Tianwan left, without moving at all. King Huo Tianwan said that before he came back, the great demon god lay like this. If he dares to stand up, he will be beaten to death. Father! Shuemeng ran over in a hurry. According to Yeju's instructions, he came to ask Wuhan to create a sword technique called Golden House. After Shuemeng explained his purpose, the swordsman in white didn't even raise his head and said coldly. Nonsense! Wuhan's tone was slightly reprimanding. While Lan Bangxian turned around and didn't pay attention, Wuhan easily turned a black stone into a white stone. When Lan Bangxian lowered his head again, he found that the white pieces had been connected into 5 pieces. I lost. 5 sons, okay. He said sincerely. Good sword. This was not a curse, at least not completely. He can easily turn Lan Bangxian's sword energy into his own sword energy without causing any disturbance under Lan Bangxian's eyes. With this move alone, Wuhan is much better than Lan Bangxian. Now that the outcome of the chess game has been decided, Wilhelm looked at his useless adopted son and began to train him to become the strongest adopted son. My father has learned countless swordsmanships in his life. Only because he has a sincere heart when he learns swords can he feel free and express his feelings when he draws the sword. It's not as childish as you said, it's easy to understand. What did you take Wukong for? Do you have the most basic respect for Wu Jian? In Wilhelm's words, it can be summed up as follows. Only when you are emotionally mature can you realize the sword. Obviously. The emotion of the sword house of gold has not yet arrived. Xuemeng scratched his head in embarrassment, chuckled, and said nothing more. It was expected that he would hit a snag with his second father. In his early years, Wilhelm, who was famous for his bad temper, how could he have a good temper? If Wilhelm had a good temper, would Xuemeng be beaten so hard that he couldn't even hold the sword? Over the years, Wilhelm has cultivated his moral character and become much more refined, so much so that many people have forgotten the style of this most powerful man. Just because there are no enemies in this world worthy of Wilhelm's anger. When Wilhelm's true temperament is revealed, everyone will understand that he is still the same irritable old man and has not changed at all. Xuemeng was surprised to find. Second dad looks good today and his condition seems to be improving. No matter why, it's always a good thing. Before Wilhelm finished scolding Xuemeng, the reflection of a dove appeared in his pupils. Even Wilhelm's expression froze for a moment when he saw the pigeon. I almost couldn't hold myself any longer. Lan Bangxian realized something was wrong, raised his brows, and heard the sound of swords ringing from the sword box behind him. He shouted in a low voice. He's coming. Xuemeng was also extremely nervous. Fang Tian held the painted halberd in his hand and hit it casually with the bloody sledgehammer. In Lan Bangxian's opinion, Wilhelm could have such an expression. There is only the most powerful demon god in the world. Besides the most powerful demon god, who could make Wilhelm lose his composure like this? No. Wilhelm shook his head and said calmly. Young man, a big thief. Before Lan Bangxian could continue to ask questions, Wilhelm looked at Xuemeng and changed the subject. However, my father sees that you are sincere and energetic in learning the sword today. You have vaguely gained some of the true meaning of the sword as my father. What's the harm in learning a sword for my son? Xuemeng was stunned. The emotion I mentioned just now is not there. Why are the emotions rising again now? Second dad, your emotions are too flexible. While Wilhelm spoke, a sword light lit up the entire first abyss. The golden house is like a small family. Wilhelm sheathed his sword and said calmly. This sword is golden abyss. Say the least words and pretend to be the best. Pretending is like the wind, always with me. Wherever the sword light went, the ground was filled with gold. The entire first abyss turned into a golden abyss. Even the monsters are dyed with a layer of gold, and the great demon is covered in golden armor. In Xuemeng's ears, 4 elegant and easy-going words from the swordsman in white fell. Never spread the word. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Online games, only I can see hidden information. Author, Minjai Old Thief. Chapter 589. Eternal Tower. Floor 35. Ye Bai, joined by the grumpy old pigeon, once again started his sweeping journey. Rewards obtained by winning streak. He promoted Lan Jianxian and Shui Yangyang to 9 stars one after another. The lineup's combat power soared to over 100 million. And with the blessing of various characteristics, even when facing enemies with 200 to 300 million combat power, Ye Bai is sure to win. Current clearance probability, 100%. Ye Bai was still a big step away from clearing the level at this time, so the Eye of Insight declared victory in advance. Opening the champagne at halftime is a yes. This also brought a happy trouble to Ye Bai. I have so much material on hand that I can't use it all. There are still 2 vacancies in the lineup, who should I choose? The upper limit of the population for playing chess is 9, and after Master Ju reached the 9-star level, he was rewarded with add 1 to the upper limit of the population, giving Ye Bai a chance to collect a population of 10. Just as Ye Bai was hesitating, whether it was better to pinch the eldest brother or the third brother. Otherwise, I'll pinch them all. Ye Bai suddenly shook his head and came back to his senses. Am I not seeking death? After reviewing his journey through the barrier, Ye Bai's back felt chilly and he felt like the cold wind couldn't stop pouring down from his neck. Xiuoda is dead. Ye Bai knew very well that if the information here was leaked to the outside world, disaster would be waiting for him. Even the identity of the most powerful seed cannot protect itself. I just opened champagne to celebrate the victory. In the blink of an eye, it's time to say, it's so damn good, pop the champagne. Anyway, this champagne won't be wasted. Too inflated, too arrogant. Ye Bai reflected on himself and said that he must learn the lessons from this breakthrough. Next time, dare you. Let's find a way to get over this hurdle first and then talk about it. Ye Bai has now offended Master Ju and his second brother. The only one who can save Ye Bai is his third brother. If another third brother comes out, it will be really hard to save him. Ye Bai, who returned to his heart, pinched Huo Xiaowang with his backhand. Facing the most powerful person, Ye Bai was obedient. Facing the Huo family, Ye Bai struck hard. Chess piece, Huo Xiaowang. Occupation, Lucky Lancer. Star rating, 1 star. Combat power, 20. Traits. E. Stab forward, luck may come at any time. Looking at the little man he randomly made, Ye Bai rolled his eyes. What kind of rubbish is Mr. Su of the Huo family? Isn't this Xiao Huo a bit too disappointing? Ye Bai casually upgraded the chess piece to 7 stars and threw it aside, leaving him to fend for himself. Ye Bai smashed the remaining materials on a chess piece. He wants to find a powerful person that he will never offend. The creation of the 9-star chess piece, the strongest Shura, was successful. As long as you accept that you are the strongest, Shura will be the strongest. The information panel of the strongest Shura popped up in front of Ye Bai's eyes. Chess piece, the strongest Shura. Occupation, the most powerful being. Star rating, 9 stars. Combat strength, 1 million. Traits. Most powerful. The strongest Shura is the strongest and does not accept refutation. Win the ticket, the strongest Shura will not participate in battles with a winning rate lower than 100%. Yes, when the enemy's combat power is higher than that of the strongest Shura, the strongest Shura will gain 100% dodge rate. Punch, when the enemy's combat power is lower than that of the strongest Shura, the strongest Shura will cause an additional 100% true damage. Brother save me, when the strongest Shura is fatally injured, he can call for help to the nearest chess piece. Proficient in mathematics, after winning each round of battle, the loot will be increased to a certain extent. Good at development, after each round of combat, the friendly chess pieces will receive a combat power bonus, and the strongest Shura will receive an equal amount of combat power increase. Looking at the mess of traits in front of him, Ye Bai fell into silence. This cannot be said to be exactly the same as mine, it is simply irrelevant. Powerful. Too strong. Shura, why are you so strong? In terms of humiliating cultivators, Tan Yanzhen really has a good grasp of it. Putting aside other characteristics, the strongest Shura is destined to be extraordinary with just one skill: good at development. In Ye Bai's current lineup, many chess pieces have characteristics that increase their combat power. After each round of fighting, the strongest Shura will receive the total increase in combat power of the entire team. After several rounds of fighting, the strongest Shura will soon become truly the strongest. Not to mention, Yes, and punch are still very useful in battle. Brother Save Me can provide battery life, and proficient in mathematics is a resource-based trait. Overall, this piece is definitely strong. But Yabai always felt something strange, as if he had been scolded. It doesn't matter so much. Yabai put the strongest Shura into the lineup, and his combat power increased by 1 million. The strongest Shura is already in the formation. The next battle is a complete crushing game. The Eye of Insight has long given a 100% winning rate. Coupled with the characteristics of the strongest Shura, if you are not sure of victory, you will never take action. That is to say, after the war, as long as Yabai sees the end of the strongest Shura, it means that the situation is stable. Rumble. The lineup of monsters with a combat power of over 10 billion on paper finally fell on the chessboard. The black clouds under Yabai's feet have risen to the top of the clouds. At this time, he is undoubtedly the strongest king. After clearing the level, Yabai was not as happy as expected, but instead felt a little lonely. Looking at the 10 chess pieces in the lineup, Yabai fell into deep thought. We have to find a way to take these chess pieces out. If it is destroyed, who dares to destroy it? Apart from anything else, how about destroying the 2 chess pieces Grumpy Old Pigeon and Jing Yanjiu? Try it or die. It won't work either to destroy it or to leave it here. Once this kind of black history is discovered, it will be Yabai's death. The only thing Yabai could do was to find a way to take these chess pieces out, hide them quietly, and enjoy themselves secretly. If you take the chess pieces out, there will definitely be a bug. Yabai is an expert in fixing bugs, but he must at least know the rules here before he can find a way to fix bugs. Why not ask the magical tower spirit? Yabai rolled his eyes and ignored Tanyan. He summoned the eternal core crystal and began to call the tower spirit. It's so noisy. After the grumpy tower spirit came online, he asked dissatisfiedly. Didn't we all agree on it before? Why, you want to go back on your word? Regarding the expenses for Shura's breakthrough, the 2 sides have reached a friendly agreement. Yabai quickly explained his thoughts. You want to take the chess pieces out, what a big deal. Tolling said disdainfully. Let me see what moves you made. Soon, Tolling was speechless. Yabai said with a smile. It's a bit too much, it's a small fight, it's harmless. Tarling? You sure? Any strong person in the human race who has a bit of a temper will be completely offended by you. Do you call this a small fight? Is Yingju's sword dull, or is Wuhan's sword unhappy? Tolling sneered and said quietly. Shura, you are really punished. Online games, only I can see hidden information. Author, Minjai Old Thief. Chapter 590. Shura, you are really punished. Tolling's words echoed in Yabai's ears. Yabai said modestly. Mild praise, ridiculous praise. Tolling. I'm not complimenting you. What the heck is it, and I'm still in the mood to joke. Yabai was also helpless. He spread his hands and transformed into a bear. I'm also trying to break through, what can I do? Break through? Tailing sneered twice and said nothing more. If it's just to break through, why are you pinching a grumpy old pigeon? You are really not afraid of death. I can't help you because you're busy. Tolling didn't give Yabai any chance to speak and said quickly. It's not that I don't want to, I don't have the ability, do you understand? Thank God, thank God. Hearing Tolling's words, Yabai breathed a sigh of relief. Tolling doesn't have this ability. Except for the third brother Xiaoao, no one else has this ability. As long as Yabai, Tolling, and Xiaoao don't tell anyone about this matter, Yabai will be safe. Just when Yabai was thinking this, the slightly evil voice of the tower spirit sounded in his ears. Shura, you don't want Wuhan to know about the grumpy old pigeon, right? Yabai. Why does this plot seem so familiar? Oops. The offense and defense are alien. Ye Bai reprimanded him righteously. What nonsense are you looking at all day long? Can you be like me and be more sunny? Taling, who was beaten upside down, was not surprised at all. Shura's shamelessness is definitely SSS level. Facing the threat from the tower spirit, Ye Bai was not afraid. The reason is simple. The second brother probably already knows. Based on Ye Bai's understanding of the strongest, such things related to the strength of the strongest will be sensed by the other party. Besides, how generous is Wu Hen? How could he be acquainted with Ye Bai, a junior? In this set of chess pieces, the one Ye Bai needs to worry about most is Jing Yanjiu. Unlike Wu Hen, the whole world knows that Master Ju is petty. If this chess piece is discovered by Master Ju, he can order a tombstone in advance and take care of the funeral. Since you can't take these chess pieces out, please keep them safe for me. Is that okay? Ye Bai made a request that was not excessive. However, just going back empty-handed makes me feel uncomfortable all over, as if there are ants crawling on me. After Taling agreed, Ye Bai spoke again. I broke through the level and killed the boss, but I didn't get any benefits. Isn't it appropriate? Taling really wanted to say it was suitable, it was so suitable. Not appropriate. Ye Bai looked around and found that there was nothing to take away from the cloud top. Finally, his eyes were fixed on the operating table. I'll take this table with me. Isn't that too much? Taling. You shouldn't be called Shura, you should be called Xiu Baby. Taling and Shura repeatedly explained that the actual combat effectiveness of the chess pieces made on the console was not strong. Even a chess piece with a combat power of over 10 billion might not be as good as Su Qingfeng in reality. Even if it's so rubbish. Ye Bai still adheres to the principle that thieves should not leave empty-handed, so he must pick up something from this floor. Ye Bai said plausibly. Before I passed the level, I was empty-handed. After I passed the level, I was still empty-handed. Didn't I go through the level in vain? In the end, after some haggling, Ye Bai successfully asked for 3 consoles. Be sure to save the chess pieces. Ye Bai repeatedly told him to place his palm on the eternal core crystal and clear the level. Congratulations to player Shura for successfully retaking the 35th, 36th, and 37th floors of the Eternal Tower. Just after Ye Bai settled and cleared customs, the 3 layers of black fog quickly dissipated, and the sky and the earth became clear, sweeping away the decline. The set of chess pieces he left behind was originally quietly sealed in a corner. Until, a butterfly falls. Butterfly looked at the chess pieces quietly, as if time had stopped. Call. The butterfly flaps its wings and the entire set of chess pieces disappears. Butterfly looked into the void and met the eyes of a slightly stronger swordsman. Xiaoao asked. So. A white dove appeared on the shoulder of the swordsman in white. It was very docile and did not dare to be angry at all. The open-minded swordsman nodded with satisfaction. It's very good that the thing returns to its original owner. Wu Hen previously sent a message to Xiaoao, asking Xiaoao to seize the chess pieces after Shura cleared the level. After Shura leaves, return each chess piece to its original owner. This matter is entirely a personal grudge, with no objective factors involved. Xiaoao didn't understand why Wu Hen did this. I don't understand the point of doing this either. He owes Wu Hen a life. Wu Hen asked him to do a favor, and he did it. That's all. The butterfly flapped its wings again and left the 35th floor. Boring. The mighty abyss. 2 old men were running frantically between cliffs to avoid the pursuit of monsters. Laoju, are you still okay? As King Huotian ran, he looked back and saw that Laoju was driven out like a grandson. The longer you live, the younger you become. King Huotian couldn't help but sigh. Yingju's arms had completely turned blood red, and the sword was far less sharp than before, and its power was also greatly reduced. Fortunately, my legs are fine and my running speed is not affected. Cut the nonsense. Yingju finally followed King Huotian and escaped the chase. Several level 1000 monsters lost their target, released their spiritual consciousness, and began to search the surrounding areas. Huo Tianwang and Yingju, who were hiding in a cave, had a chance to breathe. Laoju, something is not right with you. King Huo Tian frowned as he looked at Yingju, whose blood shadow was becoming more and more serious. There is not a word of truth in this old liar's mouth. At first it was said that it would take 10 years to completely transform into a blood shadow, but now it seems that not to mention 10 years, even 10 days may not be enough to withstand it. Ahem. Yingju, who was curled up in the corner, coughed violently. The blood redness in his arms further expanded. The situation was very bad. That unlucky guy is probably here. His current state is so bad, Sun Li takes the blame. King Huotian said angrily. Even if he comes, he was sent by your apprentice. After snorting coldly, King Huotianwang sighed heavily. I really don't know what you, master and disciple, are thinking. I was thinking. Yingju laughed, unable to express the weakness in his words. What do you think that thief's son is doing right now? Then how would I know? Halfway through his words, King Huotian felt his pocket tingling, as if there was something extra in his pocket. He actually took out 2 chess pieces from the tablet in Wanwu Pavilion. One is named Jing Yuju, and the other is named Huo De Wang. King Huotian's face darkened and he said coldly. Then thief's son stabbed the little man. With that said, he threw Jing Yanjiu to Yingju. King Huotian was very dissatisfied with Shura's behavior. Why is King Huo's combat effectiveness lower than Jing Tanjiu? Unfair. In the cave, the sound of Yingju gnashing his teeth could be heard. Good thief Sunday. After a while, Yingju stood up again, the blood in his arms faded, and his face was covered with frost. Walk. Yingju said coldly. I can still afford to use the knife.